Welcome back to the Physiology First podcast. I got a great question via Instagram and I want to answer it here on the show today. The question was, how do we help keep teens away from AI chatbots and not let them get hooked on AI chatbots and AI companions? Here's what I'll say. In 10 years of working with teens, their relationship to the phone has been a cry for help. And the cry for help has been, please pay attention to me. Create something cooler than this. I do not want to live my life on a 4 by 6 inch screen. I do not want to live in the matrix. And what we end up with is a great example of correlation not equaling causation. The public right now sees kids with their phone in their hands, and they see kids who are anxious, depressed, and isolated, and they say, look, the phone did it. I can tell you that the kids are going towards AI chatbots, social media, and AI companions because they cannot find real life companions who they respect, look up to, and feel like can lead them. So, the answer to the question, first and foremost, is be the companion. And they will not look to AI companions because they have what they're looking for, which is companionship. These kids are telling us exactly what they need. They need mentors to guide them, they need someone to talk to, and they need adults in their lives who are not too busy to notice that they exist. So, the first answer on how we keep teens away from building relationships with AI companions as their sole source of romantic partner, mentor, friend is we become companions to these kids and we create the infrastructure for companionship. And I can talk a little more about how we do that at our campus at Physiology First. The second thing is we have to be anti fragile adults. We are going to see a wave of adults who are not prepared for the AI revolution, even though all signs are present. It is clear that this tidal wave is coming, and it is up to us to make sure that we are not part of a wave of job automation, of mass layoffs, and of obsolescence where we don't have a place in society, because that's going to be true for a lot of adults who are too busy to prepare for this thing called the future. And this thing called the future does not care if you're too busy, it's coming anyway. So we have to be prepared to model what it looks like to thrive in an age of accelerating technology and rapidly, evolving economic paradigms. And if we can't do that, if I'm trying to advise a teenager, but I get laid off next year, and it's because what I did was not uniquely singular and could easily be replaced by a powerful machine that did it for free, how do I advise teens on their future? They're going to realize I didn't have my ducks in order. So we have to make sure, we have to be really aware that we all have the capacity for self BS and for cognitive dissonance. We have the capacity to say, yeah, I know that this wave of automation is coming, but not for me. I'm super special. I'm way talented. I'm one of a kind. I know that a lot of people are going to get laid off because what they do could be done yesterday by an AI for free, but not me. I'm the exemption. And we have to really ask what makes us uniquely, singularly, powerfully human and valuable to others. So we really have to model economic anti-fragility, or we are going to get thrown into a tailspin where we are stuck in a wave of self-preservation and we're just too anxious to help the kids because we're trying to figure out what to do with our lives. We have to lead a high agency, high autonomy, focused and prepared path to our own economic and psychological stability. We have to. And then the third thing is we have to help the next generation become anti-fragile adults. When a teenager says, hey, look, I'm feeling a little bit anxious because I'm about to go into $100,000 of debt for a job that I don't believe will exist by the time that I graduate, and I don't know if that's a good idea, our advice back to them can't be, what's the worst that can happen? Because the worst that can happen is that they can be economically obsolete, broke, and feel like they've been betrayed by the adults in the room. We have to help them think through these accelerating waves of technology, ask themselves what really makes you valuable? What's your real zone of genius? You offer a lot to the world, but we have to find out what it is because the market will not care. It will not accept mediocrity. It will only look for excellence. We all have the capacity for excellence in a specific domain. So, to wrap up the answer to a great and important question, and I want to take a second to talk about how important this question is. Back in 2013, Tristan Harris, who was a true pioneer, started waving the red flags and saying, look, if a generation of kids grow up on social media with algorithms that know their psychological vulnerability, selling them content to make them feel like crap, we're going to see a crisis in depression, isolation, and alienation for a generation. That's exactly what happened, but he was one of the lone voices in what should have been a chorus. We are at that moment again. Why isn't every adult in the room saying, wait a minute, the massive number of kids are preferring AI companions to real friends, real romantic partners, or real mentors? We need to get ahead of this. It's up to us to be at the edge of the technological revolution, not sending a generation into the front lines while we hide behind a tree. So we really have to understand these technologies that are understanding our kids and understanding us. We really have to create the infrastructure for companionship. Just this past Saturday, I had two teenagers come over to the campus. They weren't on their phones for a second. They never, ever, ever are. They were getting the sauna ready. They were lighting a fire. They were helping to clean up. They were learning how to build an exercise program. They did a great sauna session. I did not see them on their phone for hours because we created the infrastructure for companionship. If we don't do it, they're still going to need it and they're going to get it from AI. If I'm not modeling preparedness in my own life and some level of savvy about how the world is changing, they can't trust me and they shouldn't because I might be walking off of a cliff. And if I advise them to walk off of a cliff and they actually fall and they are in a mountain of debt and don't feel like they have a shot at living a life that is economically prosperous and provides outlets for creative freedom and for growth, they're going to feel betrayed, and their anxiety and their depression in that instance will be the farthest thing from a disorder. It will be a natural response to being misguided. If we can nail those three things, they're not easy, but they're essential. We can help kids avoid being addicted to AI companions because we've addressed the core need, which was companionship.